Hey people, I come to you from a very warm and lush November afternoon after a very, very wet spring, and like everything's just so dense on the ground. Just love it. Times are plenty, really. Look, the main focus of this video is just going to be about the last 4 months of my hunting or so, from midwinter now to the end of the spring. And look, the main thing that's characterized has just been really short day trips in amongst a big block of work that I've been committed to, which is just fine. But even with these short bursts of hunting and fishing, I've been able to nail success a lot, which is great. That's deer, pigs, duck and trout. So the other thing I want to throw in there is just some reflections about this big wash of moisture that's come into our landscape and just how that affects game a little bit, what that could mean, or just some of the implications for our hunting going forward a little bit. So I'll just share some of that. But also I just can't help but share a bit of just nature footage about how good the land is at the moment and just how things have really come back into themselves, which is just fantastic. I just love being part of it, love being in amongst it. Look, just before we kick off, I was really lucky to be on the Hunting and Rhett podcast with Dave Burns. Guys, if you have any interest in the state of Australian hunting in general, public land, hunting and advocacy and all of that kind of stuff that affects us and affects what we do, please give his work a listen.
Yes!
So for this burst of duck hunting that I was doing back in winter, I was getting consistent harvest right up to the end of the program then, which finished at the end of June. But it's really interesting, speaking to the property owners since, we've had a huge burst of rain and the ducks have just completely spread out, and he'd be lucky to see a couple of ducks on each dam if he's lucky. And isn't that interesting that habitat has just completely spread itself out, so there's anywhere they can go. That doesn't mean there's actually less ducks around, they're just spread out. And also they've got fantastic habitat then from which to breed. So not long after this, we had a really big dump of snow, and that was in August across most of the central west. It was fantastic. And I relished the opportunity to get out and have a quick day hunt in amongst all of that, even though I couldn't really hunt that effectively. You know, I'm not very experienced around snow and enjoying the novelty more than anything, but it struck me just how much animal activity was going on in response to that, because of course big weather events like this shake everything up. They don't know what to do with it either, and a lot of them are either trying to escape it or take shelter from it, or it's just sending them on the move. So just another source of animal populations being massively scattered out there, which I thought was really interesting. I was just a bit out of breath. Just wanted to say, looking at these times with thick abundant pasture. Now obviously this is cattle pasture here, but the bush is full of thick feed as well, and that really has an effect in dispersing animals. They can get by just about anywhere, and I know a lot of people find that frustrating when you know, they might have a certain hunting area that they've got sussed out, whether it be a pine block, whether it be lump of property, whether it be just native bush that they've been working for a while and planning, because the animals all of a sudden change their patterns because they don't have to stick to their patterns. Their survival doesn't rely on those patterns because anything goes. And I know that can be frustrating, but at the same time, anything that encourages you as a hunter to think outside the box and the square, well, it's essential to your development and hunting, to be honest. You need to challenge yourself, otherwise you're not actually improving. And when you do find that there's a different species you want to hunt, like just say, oh, you never hunted Sandbrook Victoria before, I want to head down there, rather than just applying a blunt formula to it. You need to be able to have those soft eyes and to read landscape differently and be open to those areas which you don't think are traditionally hold animals, all that kind of stuff, you know. Just embrace these times of change. That's what I'm trying to say. We're in a situation where we've got populations that are being very suddenly dispersed, and so the first instinct from some people to think is like, oh, I'm not seeing any animals in my hunting patch, or they've moved on, or there's less than there normally are. But they're going to breed up very quickly, and particularly pigs. And look, that could become a real issue pretty soon for agriculture, and you know, with right conditions, that breeding becomes exponential. So guys, I really urge that for us as hunters, we need to keep our efforts relevant to that process. Actually kill pigs, and kill a lot of them if you can. Please get good at it. And for me, like, you know, I've been really enjoying eating them. Like that last one that I smoked, Like for me personally, I'm really enjoying eating them. But those last two that I smoked up, oh man, that's just got me on a wild pork buzz to the maximum. The point is, I'm not going to stop pulling the trigger. I need to keep at that. And guys, I really urge you to as well. Anyway, to spin it to the positive, rainy conditions can be really, really, really good to hunt in, and particularly if it's just after a rainy period. I mean, the animals want to get moving almost straight away because they've been uncomfortable. But if it's light rain or intermittent rain and you can handle it and it's safe to handle it, like it's not too cold to be out there and you're well protected from it, oh man, the stalking can be just so quiet. And the animals are often have a great sense of security just because they don't think that many other things will be active in amongst it. And they couldn't really smell you if you were coming anyway, so they're not necessarily on edge. I'll just share some footage with you now of the latter half of a deer hunt that I had, and it went exactly the way I just described it. Just like that. All of a sudden I just look at a tiny bit of movement up ahead and fallow deer. I think it might have been a spiker. Finally a deer. Finally. It's funny, my first instinct, go grab the camera. Just can't do it anymore. No, I just gotta fill the freezers. All this thick stuff, but the wind was on my side. Just starting to rain a bit, which it is now. Coming down here, mooching along. That's done it, and there we are. Oh, it's a relief. That's a good feeling. Caught out in the rain. Doesn't really matter though. Fellow spiker. Very, very grateful and lucky. Been a while since I shot a fallow deer too. Only the second deer of the year. That's all good. I'm glad I turned up. Even though it was predicted to bloody rain. Definitely worth it. Decided there's no rush. A little burst of rain, but just huddling till it passes. You know, I get that bloody a bit better. Just huddling behind this little tree until most of it passes, but yeah, a good time, a lucky time. Oh, bloody hell. Still a bit of weight, and that's a good thing. Plenty to eat. Get in there. Come on. Whew. So I went into the start of this trout season with low expectations, a bit of trepidation about the amount of damage and impact that the drought and the subsequent flooding could have had, but to find rivers which had stopped flowing completely and then flooded, to return to an equilibrium again, but also to see water life in and around it, oh, it was just wonderful. And then to be pleasantly surprised with fish that had survived all of that. Oh man, just fantastic. First fish for 2020. Brilliant. Didn't really get to catch much of that fight because it was unexpected. But what a whomper. Oh, no. One photo, buddy. One photo. That's all right. I understand. Absolute cracker. There he goes. Well, finally time to get out for an actual overnighter. And geez, it's been a while. I mean, just sneaking in whatever hunting and fishing I can amongst work. That's just the way life's been. That's fine. And I mean, the few times I had the opportunity of staying out overnight, it's just buggered. couldn't do it. I actually couldn't physically do it. But that's absolutely fine because I've come down now on a beautiful piece of creek. There's my eyes. And there's the creek. It was charging at flood water levels last time I saw it. But that is very attractive. Just getting ready to have a camp set up, but there's a fish rising in the pool. That's just great. Straight onto the action. Ah, there you are. There you are. Oh, anyway, into him. Oh, on. Ah, fuck! I don't think any of that was caught, but just under that log jam. Bloody hell. I don't know why I didn't start filming before, but here it is. Yes! Oh man! Great fish! Brownie! Hard fighter! Oh, look at your colours. Glorious fish. Oh, buddy. Lay yourself out. Great fish! Ah-ha! It's the best trout I've caught in a very long time. Oh man, what a good looker. Absolute stonker, absolute ripper, healthy Central West fish. And Jesus relief, after all this time we've had with drought, etc. Because I will put him back today. He would eat so well, something that's this healthy, but you know, these are recovering streams. Isn't it good to see them recover like this? Look how wide that tummy is. Alright, time to let our mate go. I just want to show him off for his own sake because he's just got such beauty to share. Oh, when you're ready, mate, I'll let you go strong. Straight there. Now, can I please give a very warm shout out to a bloke named Rod, and Rod gave me a rod. So thanks so much, brother. And look, sorry, second brown on it now. The last couple of weeks. I'll send you the photos tonight when I'm back up at the house, and I'm going to give you a call. Such a good feeling to be on waters again. You know, there's been so much nervousness about these streams, man, but I've got to tell you, look, Perth, having a 4-piece like this, the easiest travel rod I've ever owned, and it makes me realise that a lot of the stuff that I've been using for trout up until now may not have been appropriate. I mean, it catches them, obviously, but this is just fantastic, and I'll be amazing for high country missions. And anyway, look how it performed, man. Thanks heaps. And Paul, mate, that's another legend who gave me a rod. Please don't think that I've forgotten about that, man. It's rigged up for some native fish, and on the 5th of December, I'm going to have a go at one of the Central West dams. Hopefully to have a go at some yellers, and maybe some silver perch and stuff like that too. So, big cheers to you legends. Thanks, guys. What a good feeling it is to catch fish. Oh man, particularly good fish like that. Great brown trout. I really haven't caught many brown trout better than that. And oh no, it's a good feeling because particularly seeing as this creek here stopped flowing. It stopped flowing for almost, I'd say, 9 months towards the tail end of the drought, followed by intense periods of flooding, which is not great for fishing either. In fact, no, it's terrible for a lot of fish, but haven't they proven that they can handle it? Survivors, particularly brown trout, great survivors. Native fish can be better survivors if state governments and shitty water policy doesn't get in the way. Keeping it positive though. Oh, it's a good feeling. That's a great feeling. Glad to see him swim away strong on cloud 9. Anyway, folks, thanks for watching. Look, I'm just thinking of Victorians right now that lockdown's really easing, and I think there's going to be a massive wave of outdoors people heading up into the high country to enjoy it. I beg and urge you to consider how you're representing hunting. Please be responsible, please be safe, but I wish you abundant harvest, and I hope your good times are natural. Anyway guys, I'll catch you shortly. Respect.